Here comes the pressure. Corral towards the goal line.
Most people remember the 2019 Egg Bowl for an ill-timed penalty, a single 15-yard infraction that altered the Magnolia State's biggest annual rivalry. But what if I told you it was deeper than that? The 2019 Egg Bowl is unlike any other for a few reasons. To understand the Egg Bowl in all its glory, you first have to understand the history of the most absurd rivalry in college football. This is
You Sure, Bro,
a channel dedicated to exploring the deeper layers of the sports we love and the moments that live outside of them. And this is College Football Faultlines, a series that traces some of the most unforgettable moments in the sport's history. The origin of the Egg Bowl is a fascinating one. Way back in 1926, Ole Miss knocked off Mississippi A&M 7-6 in Starkville, and what happened next changed the trajectory of the rivalry forever. After the last gasp win, Ole Miss rushed the field and tore down the goalposts. Then things went south. Mississippi A&M fans were late to protect the goalposts from coming down, and in the spirit of all good rivalries, the fans took action by fighting Ole Miss fans with wooden folding chairs. Historians recalled the melee by saying, irate Aggie supporters took after the ambitious Ole Miss group with cane-bottom chairs, and fights broke out. The mayhem continued until most of the chairs were splintered. To prevent the brawl from becoming an annual occurrence, the schools agreed to let the teams play for a trophy called the Golden Egg. And in 1927, the rivalry between Ole Miss and Mississippi A&M adopted the official name, the Battle for the Golden Egg. Set aside the absurdity of the infamous brawl for now, because even before that, this rivalry reached heights never before seen. In 1907, Ole Miss drank whiskey-laced coffee at halftime, they played like drunks, lost 15-0, and the coach hopped on an 11 p.m. train out of town, telling reporters he hoped to never see his team again. In 1911, the stands literally collapsed before kickoff, injuring 60 people. The response? They played the game anyway over the wreckage. In the 1983 Win Bowl, Mississippi State attempted a game-winning field goal.
State needs a chip shot to win the game. The Dogs elect to try it on third down. Into the stiff wind, Artie Cosby, the freshman from Starkville, on to try the 26-yard field goal. His kick goes straight up.
Only for a 40-mile-per-hour gust of wind to swat the ball out of the air at the crossbar. Fans still swear God played defense for the Rebels that night. In 1999, Ole Miss refused to kneel out the clock for overtime. Instead, the Rebels heaved a pass that bounced off a hand, then a foot, into a Bulldog defender's arms. State later hit a 41-yard game-winning field goal. In 2014, during a season where Mississippi State hit the unfathomable heights of a number 1 overall ranking, the Bulldogs had their season derailed by an inferior Ole Miss team, because like crabs in a bucket, these programs just like to drag the other one down. Some might say the Egg Bowl is just a race to the bottom, and in 2017 that couldn't be more true. That year, DK Metcalf, yes, that DK Metcalf, debuted the dog piece celebration in a game where Mississippi State quarterback Nick Fitzgerald snapped his ankle in half. And a year later, things got so heated, the game broke out in a full-fledged brawl during the third quarter. Because while other rivalries were played for trophies, this one is played for a police report. That brings us to the infamous 2019 Piss and Miss game. Behind a rainy Thanksgiving night backdrop, Mississippi State jumped out to an early lead before the Rebels knotted things up at halftime. The Bulldogs notched a third quarter touchdown after quarterback Garrett Schrader punched it in from 5 yards out. Then things took a turn for the worse for Ole Miss. Wide receiver Elijah Moore scored his only touchdown of the night with 5 seconds remaining, and because of poor judgment, hate in his heart, or a combination of the two, elected to harken back to Metcalf's dog piece celebration. The move was a costly one. It warranted a 15-yard penalty which backed up the Rebels on what was a game-tying PAT attempt. Ole Miss kicker Luke Logan would miss the 35-yard attempt, propelling Mississippi State to bowl eligibility and marking the end of a spectacularly stupid game in a rivalry full of them. The fallout from that game was far-reaching. Moore leaves in infamy as the guy who, quite literally, pissed the game away for Ole Miss, and both Ole Miss coach Matt Luke and Mississippi State's coach Joe Moorhead would later be fired. One Elijah Moore leg lift triggered a $4 million buyout for Matt Luke. Then a post-game loss locker room brawl cost Joe Moorhead his job just weeks later.
This game and coaching in the SEC for about a year and a half now, in a lot of ways has been a humbling experience.
In the end, the piss and miss didn't just end a game, it totally altered football in the state of Mississippi. Ole Miss replaced Wonder Bread Matt Luke with a shot of adrenaline and offensive wonder kid Lane Kiffin. Mississippi State countered with Mike Leach, the Pirate King of the Air Raid. In a span of a month, the Magnolia State went from a regional rivalry to the content capital of college football. In retrospect, one 15-yard penalty didn't just move a kicker back, It moved an entire state into the college football spotlight. The Piss and Miss poetically paid homage to the history of this great rivalry and kickstarted the most entertaining era in the history of Mississippi football.